Hello, it's wonderful to be back with all of you. It's been a few months since I did my video recordings. A period of reflection, a period of introspection about life, about what I'm doing, what makes sense to myself, to the world, exploration, new understandings, frameworks of life. There's a lot to share actually, so I'm looking forward to starting the regular video sessions, both in English and Tamil. Plus, I'm also planning for doing what I call as conversations, which means I'm going to be inviting some of the friends, maybe you, to have a chat about various aspects of life, especially focused on self-development and self-awareness. In the meanwhile, I thought I'll begin by sharing a beautiful little experience that I had last week. And that was to me an evidence of how humanity still exists. I was returning from one of my client visits and I was crossing Bisan Nagar, and there is this favorite restaurant of mine. It was called Hot Point Fast Food Restaurant. It's a very simple joint, South Indian vegetarian restaurant predominantly. They also have a few North Indian vegetarian items. It caters to middle class and let's say even to the lower middle class crowd, which means the charges are not very expensive, the price tags are very reasonable, and the quantity and quality are very, very good. Good value for money. I have known this place for the last 25 plus years in its various forms and shapes. I go there regularly, pick up the food and bring it home. So I went there to pick up some snacks. It was the afternoon time, around 1:15, and therefore minimal amount of crowd. Of course, with all the safety, corona or COVID safety norms adhered to, there was a small crowd over there. There were a few people who were waiting to order and pick up the food the same way as I was doing. So as I placed my order and I was waiting, I saw this other person, this other customer who had also placed his order, and he was going to be eating the food there. And his order for paratha kurma. So kurma is the vegetarian gravy, and paratha, you know, that large sized kind of the roti made out of wheat, which means it's also thick. It is a good quantity. One can just take one paratha and kurma, and that can be reasonably filling. So he was waiting to collect that, and then the waiter or the person on the counter, he handed over his plate. And this customer, from his looks, he was wearing a khaki dress, and it had a bit of oil stains. He could be an auto driver, he could be somebody who's working either at a construction site or with some machines. That's how it looked like. And one could also see that he was looking forward to the food. So he received his plate, and then he looked at the plate, and then he asked this waiter or the attendant at the counter, "Anne, innu konjam kurma. Brother, can I have some more kurma?" Now the thing is, it's a huge paratha, and you can normally eat with that one cup or the katori of kurma, but maybe he's feeling the hunger quite a bit. And a larger quantity of kurma to that extent is more enjoyable, it's more filling, and that was the reason why he asked for that. But you know, that was extra, so he was slightly reluctant. But all the same, I think the hunger overtook the pride and reluctance, and he asked for that. So this counter person or the waiter, with a very straight face, he asked, "Inna venuma? Some more you want?" Customer said, "Ane, please brother." So he said, okay. He took the plate back. I was wondering, I knew that some interesting drama is happening. I was wondering what he was going to do and how he is going to deal with this request for extra. Now this waiter who received it, he turns the whole cup, katori, and puts the kurma onto that paratha. Then he took that cup, filled the cup completely again with an equal quantity of kurma, kept it on the side of the plate, brought it back, which means one paratha and twice the quantity of normal kurma. And with an almost straight face, he handed over back to him and says, "Eduthinga, take it." That was a moment that was so touching and golden. I could earlier see that expectant but very tentative look on this customer's face. I could almost feel his need and his hunger. I could also feel his reluctance and being either shy or feeling awkward. How do I ask you? How do I tell you I'm more hungry? How do I tell you that I have this need? How do I tell you that I'm asking you for a favor? All these unstated, but on the face of somebody who is at the, if I can use the term, receiving end. And now when I looked at this waiter's face, the person at the counter, it was so beautiful. There was no, what you may call as very obvious expression of, I'm doing you a favor or anything of the kind, but a very, if I can say, soothing look in the eye, silently saying, I understand. Don't worry, I understand. It was a very beautiful moment, a moment where in silence there was an expression of inability. In silence there was an expression of hunger. In silence there was a request for empathy. And on the other side, in silence there was an act of charity. In silence there was an act of accommodation. A beautiful, extremely humane moment. I felt so blessed even to witness that and to be part of that scenario at that point of time. This is the truth of life, my friends. Great values and great principles don't have to be exhibited in some dramatic way. Small little gestures, small little reaching out, small little touches, small little words, small little understanding, even small little contact of the eyes. They also represent humanity. Let's become a lot more human. So I wish you all the very best for this new year that has started from the 14th of April. Wish you all the very best. Bye-bye.